Luthor Strode gave us a taste of the world I could bring to you guys. And now I put up a poll yesterday and you guys decided you want to know more about Miller World. So yes, I'm bringing you the best, or rather one of the best stories from the Miller World, Wanted. Not to be confused with the Wanted movie. Although that movie was great with an amazing cast, curving bullets, it was awesome at that time. But come to find out, they got absolutely like 80% of everything wrong. They were not a cult of assassins. They were not the good guys. And Wesley was not a hero. Neither was Angelina Jolie's character, the Fox. They were all freaking villains. And it's not like DC or Marvel level villains, nah. These guys were psychotic. But I will be giving you the real Wanted, 100% authentic. So get your food, get some popcorn, get a comfortable position, hit the subscribe button, and let's go. So like I said, the movie got some parts wrong, but what they got correctly was our main character's name was actually Wesley, and his best friend and girlfriend were cheating together behind his back. And he knew. He even had lunch with his best friend every day. He went to the same mundane job, got cursed out by his boss, ate the exact same sandwich. On his way back home, he got disrespected by every single person in his neighborhood. And there was this one old guy that kept telling him to cheer up and enjoy his life. His life was pathetic. He was a loser, a big one. But somewhere on earth, another person was living the opposite life. He was having the time of his life. An older gentleman and two young guys were about to have a party. They were even about to shoot a movie. But before he could enjoy his night, he was rudely interrupted by 2 or 3 laser pointers directly at his head. Instinctively, he got out of the way. He was pretty nimble for an older gentleman, but that was not the same for his friends because they died instantly. They were blasted to shreds. But the old guy was still kicking. Going to his drawer, he picked out 2 guns and ran directly for the window, crashing through it. Now you'd be expecting the old guy to fall to his death, but no. He just jumped to the next building and stood on the wall. Yes, he can wall crawl like Spider-Man. He even has the same Spider-Man boots. But like I said, he was quick. He found his attackers and took out all of their kneecaps. Literally. He then took out 2 guys and left 2 guys alive, still crying because their legs were out. The old guy smiled. Didn't they tell you what I was capable of? Didn't they tell you who you came to kill? Didn't they tell you I am the killer? The literal killer. That was his exact name, the killer. He was so good at killing, he became the most dangerous man on earth and was awarded the name the killer. He wanted to know who ordered this kill, and just to make a point, he took out one of the gunmen instantly. When he asked the last one alive just made it clear that they were the decoys. They were supposed to lead him to this spot. Yes, someone was going to die tonight, but sadly, it was going to be this older gentleman who got blasted. The killer was dead, and this is where the story begins. The next day, we see the killer's burial, and a lot of people were here. A lot of odd characters, an imp, an alien, and some very beautiful people. Like this beautiful woman they called the Fox. Everyone was speculating on who killed the killer because he had a list long of enemies. He was literally the killer. And the thing is, the killer also left behind a huge fortune. He was the best assassin in the world for a reason. Everyone expected the money to go to the Fox because he and her were close. But sadly, the killer had a will. And in his will, all his riches went to his son, Wesley. Yes, that loser from the beginning was the killer's son. This freaking super loser, whose best friend was banging his girlfriend, was the son of the greatest killer in history. His girlfriend had the confidence to ask for kids when she was having an affair with his best friend. Who has this type of balls? Her, I guess. His life was still horrible. He kept getting insulted. He hated his job. He was taking pills he did not know he ever needed. But today, things were about to be different. because as he came to order his best sandwich, he was interrupted by the fox. Shorty was her, pulling up and telling him to come with her, but he wasn't going anywhere. He loved his sandwich. And she looked at him. You think you're safe? Do you think you're safe because of the cameras? Do you think these cameras are going to stop the fox? Whipping out two pistols, she took out everyone in this freaking store. Angelina Jolie did not do this in the movie. She made y'all think she was a hero, but the fox was no hero. She took out innocents just to prove a point. And when she was done, she told him to get in the car. Even when he was in the car, he was still crying, but she let him know that this brooch she's wearing makes her part of a club, a special club called the Fraternity. And because of that badge, she could do anything she wants. Anything. But Wesley wasn't listening, bruh. Wesley was crying. He was crying all the way to the hideout. He was confused because even when he went to the hideout, they were talking about parallel earths and stuff like that, which was weird. But all of a sudden, the ground fell apart and they went like 20 stories below ground to see that this place was literally a clubhouse for psychos. And I mean that in the most literal sense. This place was a haven for supervillains. Yes, you heard me correctly. Supervillains. Every single one of these people were supervillains. Even he was shocked. What does this mean? Are you joking? They had their own version of Bizarro, a guy who talks backwards, who only understands lies. But the most important thing was yet to come, because when he entered the final spot, which was a super lab, he met a short man who apparently knew his father. Him and Wesley's father were apparently close. They came up together, and right now, his father was dead. Wesley was confused because he never met his father, but he got handed an envelope. Apparently now, Wesley was a multi-millionaire. His father left everything to him on one condition, or rather multiple conditions. Wesley was confused. He was supposed to be happy, but all that changed in a split second because he had to change his life. His father knew his son was a loser. His father knew he was living a dead-end job with a woman that did not love him, a best friend who betrays him, and a life he was ashamed of. He was the son of the freaking killer. He has to start living up to his full potential. And that was the condition. He had to become a supervillain. But first, they wanted to test him because the killer was so good at killing, it was considered to be a talent. So his son had to have the exact same talent. They tossed him a gun and told him to shoot the wings of some flies, just like the movie. And we know what happens next. Because he was afraid, at the end of the day, under pressure, he decided, okay, let me just try. And he shot the wings off of some freaking flies. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know a bullet is bigger than a fly? But anyways, he did it. And when he did it, everyone was like, of course, because everyone knew his potential but him. At this point, he had to accept it because not only was he going to be a rich person, he was going to rule the world. His father was the killer, and this world was a world without heroes. So he was going to be the king of the world. This was going to be fun. Oh, and it is going to be fun. So stick around, guys, because this one will blow your mind. And if you're not a fan of violence, if you're not a fan of supervillains, if you're not a fan, or if you don't have a strong stomach, don't watch this video. I beg of you.